Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Solomon Izangi Shams. I hope you're doing very well. Thank you for being with me at this time of the day. And I hope you are all locked in, concentrating. you know, like I know there's quite a few people maybe watching their phone or just from home or at work. Thank you so much. Please make sure you check out all the other videos that we have created. There are hundreds of videos that we have created. I'm sure you're going to find something interesting, something that would help you, edify you, and also challenge your thinking when it comes to biblical issues, moral issues, or when it comes to ethical issues. But I do hope my desire is always for you to, that our eyes shall continually be opened. That if, in case you have doubts about certain practices by certain churches or ministries or pastors or prophets, I pray that the Lord shall open your eyes in Jesus' name and your eyes shall remain open. So thank you so much for joining me this time of the day. I see quite a few people here already. Bongani, always here. Thank you for being here, Toko. Thank you. Thank you, Dejuano. Bonjour, ça va? Thank you for being here. Christine from Kenya, as usual. Zind Zindle says the spirit of pedophilia and narcissism is an age-old capturer of men of the clock in the church. Yes, she's not by law underage, but this is a straight up pedophilia. Well, good, great perspective there. Eagerly waiting. Oh my goodness. Good to have you. Good to have you here. Good afternoon, family. Rule says Viagra donations are needed. Are you sure? It's 60, what, 63? Thank you. I've seen Posette pedophile, the Jeffrey Epstein tendencies. Jeffrey Epstein he was one of these guys who was friends to all these powerful people. Binta, thank you. Uncle Solomon, it's good to see you. Blessings from Antigua. Great to see you too, Binta. Favor, great to see you. Bombela in the house. Thank you, brother, for logging in. So I posted this, and it's a story. I think when I came out of prison, I think it was about a week later or so that I saw this story, but I never really got the time to really look at it and ask questions around it, of a 63-year-old apostle who married a teenager, 18-year-old. Now, when people hear that, they just go, boom. What is wrong with this man? What's the age difference there, actually? I haven't even calculated. So we're talking about what? We're talking about 41 years, maybe. Is it 41 years between them? Or is it even more, isn't it? No, even more. 43, 45. That's a lot. 45 years between them. Yeah, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah, that's quite a lot. So this apostle, so-called apostle, should we call him apostle for the sake of this discussion? This apostle, who is based in a city called Calabar in Nigeria, found himself in a relationship with this girl. Her name is Blessing, and his name is Peter, Apostle Peter. So they now got ready and they got married on Saturday, the 16th of October. So it was much later that the conversations came out that, look, hey, this girl is actually 18. But they got married. And allegedly, he is also married to another woman. So she's not just his only wife, but she is his second wife. You can see that she's very young. This is them on their wedding day. You could see that she's very young, and he is definitely an older man, old enough to be what? A father or grandfather. So he's an overseer of a church. So, and now fell in love with this girl. And love is something that we cannot put in a box sometimes, isn't it? Because we don't understand it. But at the same time, love could be true and it could be false. Love could be truthful, it could be deceitful. Love could sort of like show itself in a way that is not normal, that we're not used to, that goes beyond our cultural demarcations, that goes beyond our social uh, uh, familiarity. It goes beyond it. So we understand what love is, right? And this is still their photos. This is him and her. You could see very young girl, obviously. Uh, she looks happy. Maybe she's happy. Maybe she's not happy. And you have to look at a lot of background. What sort of family did she come from? She facing some sort of challenges with like poverty that is driving her to be excited, with this. This is him in his regalia. You could see very young girl, and he seems to be unashamedly in love with her. The way that he's looking at her in that second picture, you could see all of that, right? But there are a lot of elements when it comes to such uh, holy matrimony. It's, first, the background, some of the things around the background story. I'm sure he probably has his own side of the story also, but he hasn't said anything. And normally you would hear any sort of dispute being given if there is any sort of disagreement with the narrative that is out there. So we have a 63-year-old man getting married to not just a 63-year-old man, he's a 63-year-old apostle. He's a 63-year-old leader, Christian leader, church leader, who now allegedly met or married this teenager who is 18 years of age and a member of the church, a member of the church choir. So it leaves you with a whole lot of questions. Even before we go there is also the whole fact that he is still married to his first wife. Maybe they're separated, but still married, legally married. It happens. But the fact is, when such things happen, it leaves a lot of people, culturally, Christians especially, they show a lot of displeasure. I grew up in a very sort of like Muslim community, so I interacted a lot with Islam. I saw Islam from a perspective of marriage because a lot of my friends are Muslims. I saw Islam from a perspective of marriage and family. And I witnessed older men, way older men, like this 63-year-old getting married to an 18-year-old. I had witnessed that. But that is Islam. I remember Islam embraced the teachings of the Old Testament a lot. And in the Old Testament, we saw different marriages between older men and younger girls. There's quite a lot of it. Sometimes the ages are not like really specified. But we know there's quite a bit of it that had happened within the Jewish culture. Quite a lot of it happened. And also culturally in Africa, we've seen also a bit of that in certain culture where an older man can marry. Certain cultures where polygamy is sort of like part of the culture. We see an older man marrying a younger lit girl, not as a first wife, not as the only wife, but probably his second, third, or fourth wife. And my interaction with Islam also, I saw a lot of that. The younger girls are normally not the first. They're normally the second or the third or the fourth. So that happens quite a lot, and a lot of times for me, when that happens, is that wrong? Scripturally wrong? I don't see anywhere in scriptures where it's wrong. But is that morally wrong? For me personally, I would think it is, especially if I investigate and find out the reasons why this 63-year-old decides to marry an 18-year-old, not a 40-year-old, not a 35-year-old, not a 50-year-old. Because for a lot of older men, sometimes the desire or the push for them to marry younger girls is because it comes from a place of loss of the flesh. They want what they, as they call it, fresh blood. They want a virgin. They want a younger woman because they want to keep, they want to feel young. They want younger girls because they feel younger girls are more interesting. They are more, sexually pleasing. So there are a lot of other reasons. Do I know the reasons why this 63-year-old apostle decides to do that? I don't know his reasons. But I hope that his reasons are not any of this, where it is just a personal desire, it's a fleshy desire, not a desire that is led by the Spirit. It wasn't a decision that is led by the Spirit, but it's a decision that's led by the flesh. Because you want some sort of status. There are older men that marry younger girls because they feel it's going to give them some sort of status. It's going to make them feel like they're competing with younger men. It's going to make them feel young. Wrong reasons, not good enough reasons, especially when you are an apostle. It is okay to marry, I feel, to marry somebody who is younger, because the Bible in itself does not prescribe what sort of age differences we should have between a man and a woman. It doesn't prescribe if the woman should be older or the man should be older. It's just science or society that dictates a lot of this, but the Bible is not clear in a lot of these areas. But the second part of it that is disturbing for me is just the fact that she now has become his second wife. He is an overseer. He is an apostle. And there are expectations when it comes to the office of an apostle, the office of an overseer. There are biblical expectations. Again, whatever had happened between him and his first wife, maybe they're still together, or maybe they're just separated, they had issues, but then they're not divorced. But one thing I learned from researching the story is he is still legally married to his first wife. And we see quite a lot of these situations where you got a pastor who jumps and marries another woman, whilst another woman as a second wife, whilst his first wife, he intended to divorce maybe, but they haven't really closed the door. It's always important to close the door and make sure you are moving into the next phase of your life in a clean slate, especially when you are a Christian leader, because people watch, people learn from you, people speak. Your credibility and reputation is out there and it's at stake here. You wouldn't allow loneliness maybe to drive you, or you were angry, or you just want to hit back at your wife. People have some sort of bizarre, different reasons that are just not biblical for me. The Bible is very clear. In 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 2, it says, "Now the overseer is to be above reproach, faithful to his wife, temperate, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, and able to teach." Now, when I hear this story, based on the way the story is right now, I see this apostle not meeting some of these requirements that the Bible, and Paul writing to Timothy I actually said, look, Timothy writing rather saying, look, this is it. Are you above reproach? Above reproach means you have to get to a place where you're not constantly being corrected, people just picking holes in what you do and finding, faults in what you do. But you have to get to a place where we can look at your marriage and say, okay, no, he wasn't married. Or his reason for marrying an 18-year-old is decent because he's been unmarried for a long time and he felt he needed companionship. Or he was really in love with the girl. And it's really true love, not somebody, an older man trying to score points by marrying a younger woman. And she's 18, so she's above the age of consent. So it's not a case of going against the law. It's not criminal what he did. Especially in Nigeria, I think the age of consent is what? I mean, sometimes you get 14-year-old, 15-year-old getting married, especially within the Muslim community. I've seen that quite a lot. Faithful to his wife. Is he faithful to his wife? If he's still married to the first wife and now he's jumping to a second wife, is he faithful to his wife? How is his temperament like? Because self-control would now connect to that. Is it a lack of self-control that we saw him now beginning to get involved with a younger woman? And how are we sure they never actually consummated the marriage even before the wedding? Or before they actually went before God, went before their families and declared their intention? Because if you look at them closely here, you could see. And you could see there are supports. There are other clergies, there are other pastors there, or even the parents. Some people would say, what's wrong with the parents of this 18-year-old? How can they allow her to go into this? But she's an adult, isn't it? She can make such decisions. But for me, we see quite a lot of older men, older churchmen, because they know they have a lot of influence, pastors, prophets, they know they have a lot of influence, and they know that within the church community, there are a lot of younger girls, some beautiful girls. That's why we see a lot of these pastors and apostles and bishops cheating on their wives. And some of them, they leave their wives. God said to leave my wife and marry a younger woman. God didn't tell you that. That was Satan talking to you. We've seen we're in the age where there's a lot of it. There's a lot of unbiblical reasons why older men marry younger girls. And again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that older men shouldn't marry younger girls, but it needs to be truthful. It needs to be God really leading you. It needs to be beyond the flesh, your flesh leading you into that. I mean, I know the Bible a lot encourages us. Again, the Bible never spoke about clear about age differences. No, you should make sure you're within this age range and all that. No, science, biology will tell us that, isn't it? Because a woman grows much older than a man in her understanding of life and also in with her reproductive system. So we know that. That's why the Bible actually encourages us in the book of Proverbs to get married as young people. It says here in Proverbs 5:18, let your wife be a fountain of blessing for you. Rejoice in the wife of your youth, not the wife of your old age. Rejoice in the wife of your youth. So clearly here is saying that, there's a certain level of joy that when you get married as a younger person that comes to you. that you rejoice with this wife. Even as you get older, you rejoice in this wife because the wife now becomes a fountain of blessing. I don't know what your perspective is or um, what your culture, and we must be careful that we do not allow our culture to sort of like take away biblical explanation when it comes to the age differences in marriage. Is it the Bible saying that, or is it your culture saying that? We must be careful. So, I, what do I think? You know, when I see a man like that, a man like this, who is 63 years of age, getting married to an 18-year-old, I would look at it and say, look, hey, you know, for me, I just feel it's wrong. I just feel, you know, again, it all depends. Was he married? What happened to his other marriage? Is he truthful? Is he really in love with her? Is he seeking for true companionship? Or he's just looking for somebody younger to take care of him, somebody younger that he could enjoy sex with, somebody younger that would keep him young. Different reasons. Favor says, ego from the man. She'll regret it later when her eyes open. Okay? A woman should also marry a younger man. Why do we frown at women in the situation and not men? Exactly. An older woman can marry a younger man. It's fine. The Bible didn't say an older woman cannot marry a younger man. Again, we must be careful when we create opinions around these issues. Is it an opinion based on biblical truth, or is it from cultural or societal truth? Yao So said, no matter the reason, this girl can be his daughter. She can be his granddaughter, actually. And you can imagine if this man had got married maybe when he was like a teenager, like her. Maybe he got married at 18, 19, or 20, you know? Has he stepped down? The Bible says a husband of one wife. Exactly. Has he stepped down? Those are the things. If he is still legally married to his first wife, and if he is still not really ended things up with his first wife, he needs to step down. That's what's supposed to happen, no matter who you are. But you know, some of these churches where the pastor is the alpha and the omega, everything, the board is just irrelevant. Everything rises and falls with him. He makes the decisions. Anthony says he's chopping this teenager and the wife found out. This is the most likely differential. But the Bible is full of polygamy and the lady in question is not prescribed as an underage. Please, your comments. The Bible is full of polygamy. If the Bible is full of polygamy, does it mean that God allows polygamy? That's a question. What happened to Abraham and Sarah and Hagar? Just because people in biblical times or even leaders in the Bible practice polygamy doesn't mean that it is permissible, doesn't mean that the Bible allows it. So we have to be careful there. Moira says he's wrong and he's not led by the Holy Spirit. God is holy and righteous. He wants to legally get rights to sleep with her so nobody suspects or cries. Hmm. Andre says, really sad that people are protecting and justifying these kinds of acts. Yeah, I just feel, I don't know. You know, first for me, I just feel it's just not. it's just not okay. That's me speaking. So I'm not gonna say biblically speaking. That's just me speaking. I just feel, it's just not okay. Like the age difference is like very much, but it's still possible. You know what I'm saying? It's still possible. But the second thing is, I just feel that because he he's allegedly said to be married to his first wife, still married to his first wife. I just feel it's wrong, and that's totally not right. That's what I feel. Thank you, Favor. Favor gave a donation of $5. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thinking Mind also giving a $5. Thank you. Appreciate all of you guys who are giving towards the work that we do. Neuro is agreeing here. He's saying, I think the age gap is too much. It's too much. Too much. So we're talking about a 45-year-old age gap. 45, right? So that's like maybe what, two generations right in there? Sally says, guys, remember in the Bible, all men of God were polygamists. Why are we all following the lies of Roman Catholic by one of what do you mean all men of God are polygamists? Can you name them, Sally? Because what your statement is very not true. Your statement is not true. And Roman Catholics didn't introduce one man and one woman. Don't get that confused. Please go and research and follow history. Which men of God were polygamists? Please name them. From the judges like Samson, to them Nehemiah. Please name them. Even some of the prophets, Elijah, Elisha, Nathan, were they polygamists? Was Abraham polygamist? Joseph, was he polygamist? Yao So said, I don't believe the Holy Spirit spoke to him. Most of those pastors are fake, using the lady's destiny. No wonder it's hard to witness to the unsaved. Things like this is very hard to defend. Very nasty, man. You never know, yeah. Bro V says, Hi Solomon, welcome back. Keep doing what you're doing. It is working. Even Charlatan Nanapoku is quiet these days. Yeah. Nanapoku is quiet these days. And I got approached by a girl actually who used to be with Nanapoku. I'm still waiting for her to give me some evidences. She actually told me certain stuff that is just, yeah, from occultic stuff to, women sleeping with girls and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just waiting for her to do that, just talking about Nanapoku. But Nanapoku is definitely not of God, far from God. I think he's doing vice versa. He should read Bible and under. I pray that he change his ways. Uh, Someone here is saying, don't she have parents? Because this is very, very wrong. She's just a child. But 18 is not really a child if you think about it. Maybe the time that we're living in now. Back in the day, they used to get married at that age, isn't it? Maybe you guys live in the city. That's why. If you go around small towns and villages, you see quite a lot of that happening. Or maybe when you interact with like the Muslim community, you'll see that. This is our first time getting married and being a second wife. No, not at all. Brother Allen says these are kinds of abominations of our time, so wicked. Adiola says she's on a mission, my brother. Yvonne, she's not even fully grown up. Oh my God. Sally, you still speaking. I ask you to name the people in the Bible that you say Bible leaders were polygamists. Can you name them here? Just name them. No, just name them here so all of us can engage. This is a platform where we want to engage. Just give us names so we can talk about them. Give us 5 names, please, because you said all of them. So there are like hundreds of them, but just give us 5 names. Nyoro say marriage is under attack in the church today. There is a very disturbing story of a pastor in Uganda who wants to divorce his wife and marry his employer. Pastor Bugingo is his name. It's a big story. Wow. Yeah. And that's why I always say, you know, when these things happen, why? What is the in what why is the pastor who is older? Why is the pastor why is he getting married to a younger woman? Why? What is the main? Don't tell me what you want to tell me, but right inside of his heart, what is the main reason? And is that reason really biblically strong enough? Favor said, I will be sending more donations through PayPal every Sunday, Uncle. The mission continues. Thank you so much, Favor. The mission continues. We shall not be quieted. Not even prison can stop us. We shall speak out and speak out and speak out. All right, guys. I just wanted to get us to look at this and yeah, here they are again. You could see. Sure looks like a big day for them. You could see she's a very. I think these pictures here. You could see her face much more closer and much more clearer. You just know that she's still a young girl. She's still she's still a very young girl. Thank you, Josephine from St. Martin's. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, guys. Please make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure you also share the video and check out all the other great videos that we have there right here in this YouTube channel. Please check it out and watch. And yeah, I'll be back a bit more later. And we're going to have another discussion. Thank you so much. God bless you. May you have a wonderful day.